Let's see here. Alright, so we're just gonna buy my skills. I think I am gonna bust it out. Well, so you get like a little buff. Stay in here. You get like a charisma buff. And with that charisma buff, you get like vendors will give you or offer more when you buy or sell. Let's see. What if it's like a quest or something that you can do, maybe? That'd be cool. The docks, I assume that's the boats. Me, not that kind of ogre. Alright, so I guess we're gonna have to bust it out.
Get the new Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra for $0. No trade-in needed.
This is the 1,400 hours a year you waste on your phone. With Purdue Global, you can turn that time into a degree. These are flexible, high-value degrees that fit your goals and schedule. Visit purdueglobal.edu to find out. This is your comeback.
What the fuck? Probably go back this way. I've lost experience.
From hoses to hand tools, lighting to ladders, Ranger has the right stuff right when you need it, so you can fix, build, maintain, and more. Call clickranger.com or just stop by.
So today, it's 420,
Yes.
and more people than ever are consuming the good herb. From men, women, veterans, and even medical patients. In fact, new reports suggest that women are blazing up way more than men, so this 420 is set to be one of the biggest ever, even in prohibition states like North Carolina. But even more interesting is that over the weekend, President Trump signed an executive order loosening the restrictions relating to psychedelic drugs. But here's the kicker. He also spoke specifically about rescheduling cannabis and even called on the DOJ to finally get it done.
President Trump has signed an executive order loosening restrictions on psychedelic drugs. The order is intended to accelerate research into the therapeutic benefits of LSD, ecstasy, and other mind-altering drugs. And some experts believe the compounds can be used to treat conditions like PTSD, depression, and addiction.
Today, I'm pleased to announce historic reforms to dramatically accelerate access to new medical research and treatments based on psychedelic drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. If these turn out to be as good as people are saying, it's going to have a tremendous impact on this country and other countries too. Today's order will ensure that people suffering from debilitating symptoms might finally have a chance to reclaim their lives and lead a happier life.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having us in here and doing this. You're going to save a lot of lives with it. I'd like to say how grateful I am to have had the opportunity to go through the program and receive the ibogaine. It absolutely changed my life for the better.
weekend, President Trump signed another executive order, but this time in order to accelerate legal access to psychedelics for patients with mental health conditions. And what was really interesting about this particular signing ceremony is that he specifically spoke about rescheduling cannabis. Now, I do want to show you what he said about rescheduling cannabis, but before we do, I do want to stick on this topic for just a bit, because this is really big news for a lot of medical patients, including veterans, and that's exactly what this next clip raises. Have a look.
For many of these veterans, the wars on the ground are over, but our men and women are still dying. And that's because the battle is still raging in their brain. And these psychedelics have offered now a new approach to dealing with some of these issues, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, addiction, opioid addiction, potentially alcohol addiction. We're going to see what the results are in these phase 3 trials, but already we've seen some pretty incredible results in the New England Journal of Medicine, 30% remission rates in a matter of months. Sometimes a single treatment can have a long-term outcome. And you're also hearing incredible testimonials of people who are on the brink of suicide who have their lives restored.
And it sounds like this, from what you're saying, you believe this to be a real game changer. So what are some of the possibilities here in terms of treatments?
Yeah, so the applications that are going to be coming to the FDA, the indications being studied currently in phase 3 trials, are for things like opioid, alcohol addiction, traumatic brain injury.
So even the commissioner of the FDA is on board and in support of this change. And with President Trump's executive order on psychedelic therapy, this now offers new hope for veterans battling with PTSD. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth and hear exactly what these veterans have to say. Listen.
Bajic, seen in this military photo taken in Bosnia, served in the U.S. Army for 6 years. Dancing helps, but she says a psychedelic therapy treatment in Peru was eye-opening.
3 nights in the jungle changed my life completely. Prior to that, I had 17 years of, therapy through the VA. I even went when I was a student at UT, got help through there. And in those 3 days, it did more for me than the 17 years prior.
Advocates have been pushing for ibogaine treatment, a type of psychedelic therapy. Think of it like taking psilocybin mushrooms or similar plant medicines. Nathan Fletcher with veterans. On Saturday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order removing the red tape, keeping the FDA from reviewing this type of treatment for mental health issues.
In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. Our veterans have a tremendous hard time. The suicide rate, we have a down a little bit, but they are having a hard time.
That brings a lot of awareness to the public that we need these psychedelic treatments because what we have currently is not working. We still have veterans committing suicide.
So the benefits are there, and folks are calling for this type of therapy. And what's really refreshing to see is that even at the signing ceremony, President Trump was a little bit lighthearted and joked, even asking if he can have some of that ibogaine.
In 2024 study from Stanford University, 30 special operations veterans with traumatic brain injuries underwent, it's called ibogaine treatment. Remember the name. Is that pronounced relatively properly? I don't want to get it wrong. Ibogaine, because it's so important, and experienced an 80 to 90% reduction in symptoms of depression and anxiety within 1 month. Can I have some, please? I'll take some. I'll take whatever it takes.
So even in something as serious as this, it's good to see that we can find a lighthearted moment. But things were a little bit more serious because President Trump did complain during the ceremony that the DOJ is slow-walking rescheduling. And that's 4 months after he issued an order to get it done.
We're so honored by that, and that's going to have a huge impact on this also, because the pricing not only is it important, but the pricing is going good. And you're going to get the rescheduling done, right, please? Will you get the rescheduling done, please? They're slow walking means rescheduling. Okay, you're gonna get it done, right? In 2024 study from Stanford University.
So it seems the President Trump is still actively pushing for rescheduling. And we did hear rumors about President Trump potentially setting up a descheduling committee. And that's no surprise, especially considering the fact that medical herb has helped people to stop using opioids, sleeping aids, and other prescription drugs. And that's according to a brand new study. So President Trump is taking lots of steps in the form of some of these executive orders which are aimed to help patients. And lawmakers, officials, and celebs have reacted to President Trump's latest executive order, with a lot of them on both sides of the aisle in support of what he has done. From Senator Dave McCormick to Rand Paul, and even Democratic congressmen coming out of California, including Gavin Newsom, the king of California. So a lot has happened over the past few days leading up to 420. But that's not put a brakes on anything when it comes to the actual celebrations for this stoner holiday. Because even in currently prohibition states like North Carolina, they're ramping up celebrations right before this holiday. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what they're doing, because they're doing a cannabis bar crawl, which is mind-blowing considering that the herb is fully illegal over there. Before we do, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the Icon VIP Bean Club or cop some merch from our merch store. We got a new exclusive fem line which literally just dropped. Grab it now before it's all gone. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the Icon Organics. Use the code LEGAL. It works on the bundle and the seeds.
A special task force set up by Governor Josh Stein says something's gotta change when it comes to laws about marijuana in our state, calling for the drug to either be made legal or for a crackdown on loopholes in the law. This as dozens participated in a cannabis crawl through downtown Greensboro today. WFMY News 2's Christina Dillon explains the new recommendations.
North Carolina is one of 10 states where marijuana is illegal, even for medical use. But today in downtown Greensboro, people are walking from stop to stop, trying to see drinks and edibles. I dug into how that's possible and why some lawmakers are calling for change. For the second year, this cannabis crawl is bringing people through downtown Greensboro, with stops at places like Chandler's and Little Brother Brewing, serving THC drinks, gummies, and even rolled joints. For some, it feels like progress.
I think it's a sign of a good change in Greensboro. It's growing, it's progressing, you know, so I'm just excited.
But under North Carolina law, marijuana is still illegal. But there's a loophole allowing these products sold in downtown. These products come from hemp, making them legal under federal law if they stay under a THC limit. A new state report this week from an advisory council formed by the governor says this market has grown fast, but there are hardly any rules. No consistent age limits, testing, or labeling. The report suggests these hemp products aren't replacing illegal use, and it estimates North Carolinians are still spending about $3 billion a year on illegal marijuana. That has some people looking at other states.
I travel a lot, so, you know, I'm often in states that are legalized already, and I feel like North Carolina's a little behind, you know. I think it should be legalized everywhere.
The state report says something needs to change, either a crackdown on these products or controlled adult use. People say if they did move to legalize, barriers would have to be in place.
I think we could definitely legalize it if it's like controlled, you know, not abused. And like in safe spaces around adults, really, so like young teens and stuff don't get into it.
Now let's be real, an overwhelming majority of the public is in favor of legalization, whether that's medical or recreational, despite the fact that we consistently see articles like this saying that the good herb is not chill and it's actually more dangerous than alcohol. And those are the arguments that anti-herb groups are literally pushing. There's so many already legal products which are way more destructive and cause way more death than the good herb. It's literally McDonald's fries, because according to Cory Booker, the good herb is safer than McDonald's French fries. As you guys know, French fries are only one of the things which can be considered more dangerous than the good herb. There's so many products out there that are way more dangerous and yet fully legal. Example,
common artificial food dyes in over 2,900 food products that have been shown to cause cancer in animals. Blue dye 1 is associated with development of malaria in animals, and red dye 40 is associated with attention deficit hyperactivity in children. And it's not just food, preservatives, emulsifiers, many of which have adverse effects on the immune system, gut microbiome, and are nervous. Companies bad use are banned in other countries to make their products more enticing to consumers and last longer on shelves. The question is, how is this legal? It's because the FDA's current system is broken. Food companies are not required to report to the FDA when they add branded chemicals to their foods, and they don't need to submit independent scientific evidence to the FDA proving those chemicals are safe.
So if it was really about protecting the kids, then get rid of some of these products, some of these additives, some of these red dyes, get rid of all of them, because everyone knows those are causing real health issues, not good herbs. And that's literally why, according to this new study, more U.S. women are using medical compared to men. Have a look.
It was once deemed taboo. Still today, medical marijuana comes with some stigma.
However, researchers say cannabis use among women is on the rise in the United States. Sandy Gaither explores what may be behind this trend and the concerns that surround it.
It's a state known for its conservatism, but in Oklahoma, the second largest city, Tulsa,
money can't buy happiness. Everyone knows that. But it can get you a professional grade air grinder, along with every other tool you need to rebuild that motorcycle. And when you fire that baby up, it'll make you so happy you'll have rays of sunshine coming out your wazoo. Northern Tool and Equipment. Get serious.
on board Rocky Mountaineer. Your journey through the Canadian Rocky Mountains is seeing the medical marijuana business boom, and it's women who seem to be driving it.
They are now outpacing men for the first time.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says in the U.S. there's an overall growing acceptance of cannabis as a potential medicine. After years of many women feeling their health issues were being overlooked, he says they're now exploring alternative means to help with things like chronic pain, sleep, and mood.
They've tried other things and they haven't worked, or they haven't worked as well, or they've had a lot of side effects.
An annual report that monitors U.S. substance use says in 2023, more than 44% of young adult women reported using cannabis the previous 12 months. For early midlife women, there was also a significant increase, with nearly 18% using it in the previous 30 days. A study by the National Institutes of Health also says marijuana is the most commonly used drug during pregnancy in the U.S., despite CDC warnings that it shouldn't be used by those pregnant or breastfeeding due to potential health risks like low birth weight, preterm labor, and stillbirth.
Now, when it comes to cannabis use during pregnancy, that's definitely a tricky topic and something which needs a lot more research and a lot more discussion around. But interestingly enough, just yesterday, 1 day ago, CNN posted this interview discussing this very topic. Have a listen.
One thing that surprised me was the use of cannabis during pregnancy. And I just want to riff with you a little bit here because I'm working through this myself. The idea that you can develop significant nausea, vomiting, significant pain, mood disorders, all the same things that we talk about with cannabis. Those things can get amplified during pregnancy. At the same time, we think, God, that doesn't sound right. The idea that a mom might expose a developing baby to cannabis. How do you think about it?
I think about it as a very, very challenging topic. And I think, again, cannabis is not one thing. Some of the people who choose to use cannabis or cannabinoids while pregnant are using things that are high in non-intoxicating cannabinoids with maybe just, quote, a scotch, if that's a term, of THC. That's usually where they are. Other people will use products for recreational purposes. They take a hit or two. It's challenging because there are some data clearly that suggests there are negative effects to the unborn. It really depends on what you're using, how often, when, so many things.
Based on what we do know about cannabis overall, is there anything to specifically say about the cannabis in pregnancy?
I don't know that we have all the answers there. There's been a fair amount of investigation in this particular area because people in different parts of the country, there are particular demographics I think that are affected and that come forward and talk about their use of cannabis and cannabinoids. This is the only thing that got me through. But I think we don't have all the data.
So as more states legalize, this is an issue that will definitely come up time and time again and need a lot more discussion and research before we have a definitive answer. And according to Dr. Stacy Gruber, there's another question which we do need to be asking, and that is, why have women outpaced men when it comes to consumption of herb? Have a listen.
There's a study from the University of Michigan which has found that women between the ages of 19 and 30s or so are now a larger user of cannabis as a demographic than men. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't really surprise me. I think that, again, women are more likely to lean into things that will help them with multiple aspects of their lives day to day, whether it's taking, quote, the edge off at the end of a day, or to address sleep disruption, mood dysregulation, or chronic pain.
Many of the women there, again, 54-year-old, the average age, were coming in for hot sweats and night sweats and hot flashes and headaches and mood disorders.
Sure.
A lot of overlap with the reasons people took cannabis in the first place.
In the first place, exactly.
But a very specific demographic.
Yes.
So it's not just younger folks or men using the good herb, but in fact the number of women using the good herb is also skyrocketed. And that sort of coincides with what we've seen literally just about a week ago, because also the number of seniors using the good herb has also skyrocketed. And for me, I think that's a really interesting dynamic. Have a look.
Have you noticed more silver hair at your local cannabis shop? A 2025 federal health study found seniors are one of the fastest growing groups stepping into dispensaries.
And they aren't just looking for a high. Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lockery went to find out why the 60-plus crowd is showing up and staying.
Walk into Primus Cannabis on any given day and you might be surprised who's browsing the shelves. The customers span every age, but one group is coming back more and more.
I feel like elderly people have been coming the whole time. A lot of the time it's about education. So if I was going to like simplify it, I feel like we get kind of two types of elderly customers. The first one has been, you know, smoking cannabis or partaking in cannabis forever. And, you know, they have a lot of knowledge regarding it. The other, section of that has not delved into cannabis at all, you know, and they're oftentimes looking for help with, say, sleep or anxiety or something like that.
Fisher says those newcomers often come in with a specific goal and specific questions.
I find like that type of senior shopper is oftentimes interested in the other cannabinoids like CBD. You know, you have just different things to help, like CBN helps them sleep. Like there is just really a lot of different things they can look into that there might not be.
While the younger crowd might be drawn in by the trendiest new vapes and edibles, Fisher says seniors are often the most prepared customers.
The numbers back it up. Over the last year, Primus scanned nearly 100,000. Seniors over 60 made up about 3% of those scans. But they used the store's senior discount more than 5,000 times. It is the #1 most used discount in the store.
The senior discount is our #1 most used discount. We offer 10% for seniors, just as an incentive to come in and things like that, and a bit of a thank you, you know.
Fisher says for many seniors, the appeal goes beyond price. Cannabis is becoming an alternative to medications with serious side effects.
I do think that as an alternative to, you know, opioids or some of the more hardcore like medications that people have to take that have unfortunately like sometimes devastating side effects, that is what a lot of people would lean on cannabis for a medical reason.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited to share this game with you. It's a strategy game inspired by the series. You get to build your fleet, explore the universe, and survive in a vast, unpredictable galaxy. We've put so much.
And as more seniors talk to their friends and neighbors about what's working for them, Fisher says the old fear of being judged is fading fast.
What could lead to an uptick in seniors is a reduction of the stigma. At first it was like, you know, people coming in like, they're not getting my information, like people, you know, just really worried about like what their neighbors and coworkers and peers would think of them. I think a lot of that has drastically reduced. If somebody's friend tried a sleep gummy and, you know, they're going to go try it, where do you get that? Like, what different types do you have? Readily available.
For a generation that works with
Stupid.
walking through that door
stigma continues to be broken will definitely shatter a lot of barriers when it comes to the good, especially for a lot of these older folks and veterans. Because let's just be real about it.
We do not care.
Motherfucking ninja.
Go, 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 go. Stupid. Go, 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 go. Stupid.
That voice in your head. Trust it.
But I never gonna stop.
What about a nice big cup of shut the fuck up? What about a nice big cup of shut the fuck up?
Hey.
I'm not retarded, but I like rocks.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
Fucking get a life, you fat fuck!
What are you guys doing?
Fuck my ass. 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 Fuck my ass.